Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And today is the since the beginning of October, so it's since Halloween month, I start getting to review a few horror films. Well, of course, the films I'll review in October though, but I figure start off with this film. Now it's a film that came out within earlier in this year. Um, kind of got a little bit interested in it. First, I wasn't sure about it at the same time as well. Because, horror films nowadays, are not so good. But last year, 2014, proved me wrong, because there were three horror films that I liked last year in 2014. Um, Deliver Us from Evil, um, The Purge, Anarchy, which was an improvement over the first film. As Above, So Below. So there were three horror films I really liked of last year, and I put them in my top lists. Well, I forgot it was a top 15. I forget of films of 2014. There is like a slim factor that there are some good horror films coming out though, but still, but that was like but it's 90% of the time horror films are not as good though, and so there's still like 10% maybe some days of they turn out a good horror film. And this film right here that came out this year, in March, and I do like the film. I don't hate it, but I do like the film. Of course I do have some one or two things though, but overall I like the film. It follows. It follows, like I said, it came out in March of earlier this year. And when it came out, it was critically acclaimed. It got a lot of praise, you know. Has a 6.9 on IMDb and has really enough has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, really enough. So this got a very high rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Or as I say, like you buy the DVD, it has like a Rotten Tomatoes symbol, so you get certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So this film got a lot of praise. Um, figure if this film got 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, figure it'd be much more higher on IMDb. But actually has a 6.9 though. So, but but I like the film, but I don't think it deserves. Well, I don't think it should be like overhyped, worthy for 96. I would give it probably at least in the 70s, in my opinion. But I like the film. I don't. It's and let's say it's called like one of the best horror films in years. I don't say it's not one of the best horror films in years though, but I do get the praise though, and I do understand the praise, but I don't think it's not one of the best horror films in years though, but it's a pretty decent horror film. And for some of the things I liked, the premise I like the premise of the film. That's one thing, because one of the main things for a film is you have to like the premise of it, and I like the premise of this film. Um, One thing a huge positive for me is I really enjoyed the score to the film. The music was by Disaster Piece. I really did enjoy the score. Um, Especially probably especially the main piece of the music. You hear the dun 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 dun. It's like also he also hear in the trailer as well. Um, oh, the one thing speaking of in the trailer, speaking of the trailer and the clue in the praise, it says in the trailer, it says it's one of the most what was it what was it tweaked what was it one of the best horror tweaks in horror conventions since Cabin in the Woods or something like that. It was like it's basically one of the best horror films and one of the best horror films since Cabin in the Woods. Now for that was showed in the trailer, you know. Now I would disagree with that because I did not like Cabin in the Woods, so I would say this one was definitely better than Cabin in the Woods. Comparing it to, you know, I did not like Cabin in the Woods at all, and I would say this is definitely a lot better than Cabin in the Woods. As much, you know, but the cast I thought they were decent, you know. The main girl played by Maika Monroe. First name is pronounced, you know. Um, but the rest of the supporting cast, they were fine. And the film, on a low budget film, thing was like, well, 2 million, but it was like it was a low budget film, and for when it came out, got limited release and then wide release, you know, and made, what was it, 14 to 17. Either way, it was a success. So, um, and it made decent amount of money, and it was a success on a low budget film. And getting to the film, first of all, why I liked about it, because how it opens up, you know. How first of all, I like how this opening shot is, how it does, it opens up like in the middle of the street in a neighborhood, and then shows this girl running out of the house, you know, and then going back in, and all of a sudden it shows, you know, the camera does a full circle around, like a full 360, just a look around, seeing and there's nothing there, and the girl comes running out again, and hear that music playing, dun 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 dun, which I liked, you know, because I really do enjoy the score. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie, is I really did enjoy the score of this film, you know, and hear the dun 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 dun, you know, and she's running, and she other thing she running, and she thinks she drives, and like, first of all, we don't know what's going on. She's scared, and she's running from something, you know, and then she goes to the beach, you know, and she's calling, you know, calls her dad, you know, and tells him that she loves him and all that. And the next morning, because when she's sitting on the beach, she's just staring, you know, staring straight at the horizon, you know, and we don't know what's going on until then the next morning shows that she's dead, you know. And then it opens up with our main character named Jay. She goes out with her boyfriend named Hugh, and there's this they're going to go have eat, then they're going to a movie, you know, and they're doing play this little game, you know. There's I see one person, you call it, I'll see what it is, and you only get like a couple guesses, you know. And then as we sit in theater, he's looking, you know, so looking for a person, and I was like, okay, what is it? And she points it out, is it that person or is it that person? It's like, there. That where? That girl in the yellow dress. Where? I don't see nobody. You know. So don't you see? She's right there. You know. And I can get think that something's wrong with the guy because he's seen something. Because imagine like a person that's not there. You know. And then like I think it was like on the next night, they go and have you know, make out in the back of the car, which is right here, you know. And then as she's like leaning out the door, you know, he gets the chloroform, you know, to knock people out, you know, puts it around her mouth, and she passes out. The next thing you know, she wakes up tied down in the wheelchair, you know. And then he's looking around, and he's telling her to wake up, you know. Say, I'm not gonna hurt you, you know. And saying, there's this thing that's after me, and now it's a curse basically, you know. I had it, now I've given it to you. Now this thing is gonna come after you, you know. And it's slow. It only like walks. It's not gonna run, you know. And but it will keep on coming after you, no matter where you go, you know. And it could look like anybody. It can look like a family member. It can look like be a stranger. It could be anybody. And he and it can pay. You can pass it off to another person, who that I gave it to you, making out basically, and you can do the same thing to another person, pass it on to them, and same thing, so on and so forth. But if you die, it'll come back for me. 'Cause then it'll go back down the line, whoever has been given to who, And I like that, and I like the idea. This is like the premise of it, is how you pass it off by making out, and pass it on, and to continue on and so forth, And then um and then he shows her, it's which I'll get to one of the things, which is kind of a funny thing though, but a weird slash. Well, I don't want to say it's not funny though, but I would say it's a weird thing. It's weird because the first time when she sees, she gets a look at it. It's a walk-in on the tracks is a naked woman, fully naked, and she's like, "What is it? Well, we're coming, and he pushes away from her, and then drops her off at her house, in front of her house where her friends are, or her sister, and tells the police what's going on, and so the next she is at school, then it sees she looks at the window and in the distance in the open campus, there's a slowly walking is an old lady in a hospital gown. And then she gets kind of freaked out, walking in the hallway, and then it's coming behind her, and she's the only one who can see this, she says, "Hello?" And then there's like two other girls are talking, and she's like, looking at her, responding, and as the little creature, well, it's creature, it's a creature, and then they have the music playing, dun 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 dun, and she runs away to tell her friends at the ice cream place, So and she wants her friends to stay at her house, so that she, so that way she can have some people over and not being afraid all alone, And then of course they say that the friends, the friends are they like, okay, we'll stay with you, just for. I like how the first they're not sure first of what's going on, but then they eventually believe, they'll help out, Of course, there's some films, there's some films that well, yeah, probably because in certain films that have friends like, oh, they're just complete assholes, but oh, it's like, oh, we don't believe this and that, you're full of crap, But in this film, it was nice to see that there's some their friends that when they're not sure, but they'll go along with it. They're not making fun of the character, So they're just going, okay, we'll stay with you for the night, And it was also nice the touch thing, that they're watching on the TV. They're old monster films, old black and white films, Well, it's sort of a nice touch on, And then she hears something, and she goes into there was in the kitchen, and then she sees a person, a girl, which I think you have like a little bit of movie hanging out, and then she's also pissing her pants, or shorts, whatever she was wearing, and she gets scared, runs upstairs, And then she runs up into her room, and then there's one of them is in there with them, and then they hear a knock on the door, which she thinks is the thing, but really it's one of her friends. And then all of a sudden, this really tall guy comes coming after her, and she freaks out, goes out the window and starts driving, and then it turns back into a different character, a creature. Oh, and then one thing I thought I said was weird. Well, with the thing, because we'll get into what it's called, the It, which I'll get to though. But here's one of the things that I thought was, didn't seem right, because she's driving, and this thing was after her, and then she goes to this playground and just starts swinging, just sitting there swinging. And you have this thing, I'm like, this thing, you have this thing that's after you, and you stop by, you just stop and just start swinging. It just didn't seem right. But then, um, then her friends show up though, and they want to find um the guy that she was with. And he's moved on. He lives in a different place. It's because the whole thing is him being paranoid to move one different place. Because of the thing, maybe no one can find him, so that hopefully the thing does not get him. But they find where he was supposed to be at, and then he finds out a different place, and they do eventually find him, and then they all sit in a circle, and then the guy is explaining, that how he got, because he got from a girl at a bar, and he doesn't remember anything about the woman, anything else about the woman, and that's how he got the thing, And and the one thing which is another thing though, because sometimes sometimes when a person does something horrible to another person, you expect the person to get mad. The person, oh, I'm never gonna forgive you for this, because you did this to me, whatever. They just go there. They don't get mad at the person. They just ask, what we're gonna do, If I were me, if I were me, if something happened like that to me, I would be angry at them, You're a piece of crap, you gave this to me, I would not tolerate that, but they don't, though, so nothing happens with that, So they go off to this place that's like on the shoreline, and teachers are like how to shoot a gun, and as they're sitting around, then one thing I like about is how this thing happens. Like, first you see her hair starts getting pulled up, like it's like all frizzy, like how you I forget how it's called though. It's like her hair is like hair strings is getting pulled up, and her hair's getting pulled up and up, and then one of her friends grabs a chair and then smacks it and it hits something there, but it's invisible, So this is what this creature is. It's like only she can see it as another person, but to other people who don't see it, it's an invisible creature, basically. It's invisible, but it's there, but you can't see it except for the person who does sees it, So one of the guys, grabs a chair, hits it though, and then he gets hit back. He gets pushed back, So and then they start running, and then she sees it's imitating one of her friends walking. It's one of the ones that's running beside her, but it's also imitating her walking towards him, So they run into this shed. She gets the gun, starts shooting at it, and she does. She shoots it, but doesn't stop it. Shoots in the wall, looking through the hole in the wall. It imitates this first it imitates the large, tall person, and then as a kid, like and she runs out, and then starts driving again, and then what happened? She shoots it, and then she gets into the car, and then she crashes into the cornfield, as seen in the trailer. She crashes into a cornfield, and then she wakes up in a hospital, and then she decides that even though one of the guys that's with them, there's two of them though. One has a crush on her though, and then there's another guy who lives across the street from her, named I think it was Greg, think of what the guy's name was. But even says he doesn't believe it, so they decide to she decides to pass it on to him, to see what happens, and then after that, she tells him, "You see anything? Anything has happened?" He says no. And then later on the night, um, later on the night, she's looking across the street at his house, and then she sees the thing that looks like him, break into the house, throws a rock at the window, goes inside. She runs across into the house, and then next day it looks like um the guy's mother, half, of course, half dressed, you can see her, her things, and half naked, and looks like looking at the guy's mother. And as soon as he opens it up, it attacks him, Um, basically, like, the thing how it kills him is it's I would say it's kind of like you say it's like raping him in a way, then he dies from it, I call it as I see it, because it's clearly how it looks like how it is when it's attacking him, So then it kills him, but then it starts going after her again, and then she drives off, and then for some reason she sleeps on. Next thing she's sleeping on the hood of her car, which if she drives away at a certain distance and she sleeps on the hood of the car, and this thing is walking, they get a chance to just attack her while she's sleeping instead of going inside the car and sleeping inside the car and locking the doors, That's another nitpick I have. Like, I would rather safe to sleep inside the car instead of on the hood of the car. That way you can't attack me while I'm sleeping. And then she sees some people on a boat in the distance. She gets somewhat undressed, and then starts going into the water. And then the next scene, it cuts away, and and then that's that. And she goes to her friends and how to come up with a plan to stop the thing. They go to this what was it? Um, they go. It was an abandoned. From the outside it looked like an abandoned building, but there was a large swimming pool inside, And after the guy who has the crush on her says, "You can pass out to me," but says, "No, I did that already. I don't want to do that again," So they have a plan to go to that swimming pool, put all these electric things all around it, so to lure it while she's in the pool, to lure it inside, and they throw all the stuff in to electrocute the thing, And as she's sitting in the middle of the pool waiting, it comes for her, and she's like, "Point us, tell us where it is." She's pointing to it, and she see it, and it's throwing the things at her, Of course, I said that before. It's to the ones who can't see it, it's invisible. You can see just the object throwing itself in the pool, but it's a thing picking up and throwing stuff at her, And the thing looks like her dead father, And it's throwing like the lamps or the wherever the TV or whatever electronics they have on the floor, throwing stuff at her, And one of the girls like gets a blanket, starts throwing it to try to find out where it is, And the guy has the gun, and she throws it on and making it a figure shape, with the thing on the cover when it's covered, And then the guy goes and shoots it right in the head, It falls in, but it's not dead because it's grabbing her by the leg, trying to drown her, The guy's shooting it again, then it does hit it in the head again, and she gets out of the pool, and then when she's looking at the pool, she sees blood in the pool, like it's seen like at the end of the trailer, she's seeing blood in the pool, And since but like I said, like, she's the only one who sees the blood in the water, because she says, "What do you see?" Because they don't see it still. And then after that, she has sex with the guy. I forget what the character's name is, but and then after that visits her friend in the hospital because she got injured by the. I think they think she got accident. The guy accidentally shoots her in the leg, So they see her in the hospital. Then the next thing it shows the the guy and the girl holding hands, walking down a street, and then in the back of them, we see them walking, and then when they're not knowing in the background there you see someone walking, but you don't know it's just a regular person or it's the creature again, and then it ends with them just continuing walking. So I like the film. I don't think it's not one of the best horror films in years though, but I like the film. Okay, one of the nitpicks I said that was her sleeping on the hood of the car instead of sleeping inside the car, because that would be like the logical thing, the one that makes most sense. If the thing is after you, it's better if you're sleeping inside the car with the doors locked, because it has to get in, instead of just all of a sudden grabbing you while you're on the hood of the car, though. And then her driving, all of a sudden she's like there swinging. She has this thing that's after her, but then she decides to go over this playground and start swinging. And then like another thing saying like it cuts it like when she sees the people on the boat, and then she goes in the water and it cuts away. That scene is never brought up again. We don't know what happened after that. If she did something with the guys or anything, that's never brought up again. So that was made kind of pointless. And then one thing that I said was weird is that I'm sure other people pointed it out though, but like with the creature itself, okay, with the guy that she was with dating, she sees it disguised as a girl in a yellow dress, and then when the guy that she passed it off to, it's disguised as her mother, because like I say, it could be like anybody or anything. But only when the girl sees it, it's everything she sees about the creature is weird, because first she sees it's a fully naked woman, then she sees a girl with a little bit of a boobie hanging out, then pissing her shorts, then an old lady in a hospital gown, and then this real freaky tall guy, and there's another one that I didn't point out is that as they're driving away, sees a naked person on a rooftop. I don't know why though, but and then what else does she would pretend to be as? And then pretend to be as her dead dad, but that pretending to be her dead dad. That's not her the least weird one that's disguised as. But a naked woman and a girl, little bit hanging out, and then pissing her shorts, or an old woman in a hospital gown. It just like seems like this creature seems like maybe doing this on purpose to mess with the girl's mind, because it's playing disguised as these weird people, but like to the guy she was dating or the guy she passed it off to, ordinary people, as he says, like being disguised as the guy's mother or the guy seeing a girl in a yellow dress. But that's probably my main issue though. But it's not enough to it's not to kill the movie for me though, because I like the film, because I like the idea of the film, or premise you can put it, and I really do enjoy the score of the film, and the cast, they were fine, the lead girl, she was fine, and the rest of the supporting characters, her friends and sister, they were fine, I like some of the ideas, like the opening shot, it was the opening street neighborhood, it was just a 360, slowly just a 360 shot as when the girl was running, and there was another instance where earlier they did a 360 shot as well, think was when she was swinging on the playground, does another 360 shot, I think it was. So I like some of the camera work, especially the 360 shot, I'm just reading on the back here, the site Bloody Disgusting, calls it the scariest movie of 2015. Well, the horror films that I've seen, maybe I consider the scariest movie of 2015 though, but I wasn't scared by this film. I wasn't scared by this film at all. Real Film calls it instant classic. Rolling Stone calls it nothing short of amazing. Boing Boing, I think I'm reading it right. Calling it the horror movie, best horror movie of over a decade. I would disagree with that. I don't think it's not the best horror movie over a decade because I've seen better movies are over a decade though. But uh, Entertainment Weekly, Disneyly tense and creepy. Well, if you give the creepiness, if you count like some of the people that the creature's disguised as, but I wouldn't call it creepy. I call it just weird because that's what this thing is to the girl's visions, you know. But to the other two people who say they were just regular, you know, because it looked like it could be anybody, you know. But it says this girl just chooses to be weird people, you know. Uh, Features has a trailer, post art gallery, has a critics commentary hosted by Scott Weinberg, a conversation with the film composer Disaster Piece, the guy that did the music for the film, which that's one of my favorite parts of the film because I really did enjoy the music of this film. I really love this music that's in this film. So especially the dun 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 dun, you know. So yeah, positives. Yeah, the idea of the film. Really enjoyed the music of the film. The cast was fine. So I like some of the cam work it did. But those are those nitpicks I said, especially the major issue with how the creature is disguised, though. It's the thing that bugged me how this creature looks to how the way this girl sees it, you know. Because like I said, to the other two people, it was like completely normal though, because the girl in the yellow dress, how the way it looked like it was disguised as her mother, the mother of the other guy, you know. But to the girl, this creature decides to choose to be weird with the way the girl sees it, you know. That was one of the things that bugged me about the film, though. But overall, I like the film. Would it be in my favorite films of 2015? I would consider it, yeah. But there's not many horror films that I haven't seen this year, though. But maybe I would put it. I'll put this in my top favorite films of 2015. You know, just for the sake of it, because there's a lot of things I liked about the film, but there was a couple things I didn't like about it though. But overall, I like the film. It Follows. I'll give it a thumbs up. Not two thumbs up though. I'm not gonna overhype it though. But I'll give it at least one thumbs up though. Just be positive about it, you know. Not two, but one thumbs up is good. 99. It's on for 100 minutes. That's another thing I liked about it. I wasn't bored with the film. It went at a very good, decent pace, so I was not bored. So that's another positive about it. So 100 minutes, decent, very good, decent pace. Um, the directing. That's another. I forgot that was another thing I liked about it. The directed by David Robert Mitchell. He did a good job directing as well. So that's another thing I got give credit to. So that's another thing I try to reflect on one things before I forget. Sometimes when I end the review, after that there are things I forgot to say about it. So I'm looking back before I end the review, the other things I gotta mention. So yeah, that's another thing I didn't. So I gotta mention. Yeah, I like the pacing of the film, and I was not bored with it. And especially the direction by David Robert Mitchell was well done as well. So give credit to that as well. And I definitely think it's a lot better than Cabin in the Woods, as is mentioned in the trailer. You know, the best tweak in horror convention since Cabin in the Woods, as I said in the trailer, which I disagree with that because I did not like Cabin in the Woods. I think this is much better than Cabin in the Woods, you know. And yeah, so yeah, those are all the positives I said about it. So yeah, I like the film. It's a really decent horror film. Not the best, but decent. So I liked it, decent. So there. So it's not a rant. I think is a really decent horror film. So I'll put this in my top favorite films of 2015. So I would. So that's my review for It Follows. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. You know. So yeah, but I'm glad I have the film. You know, because especially one of the things I like about it is the score to the film. That's definitely one of my things I like listening to. But on the other positives, I said, so I don't want to keep on repeating myself though, but I'm not saying it no more. So you already heard my pauses on it. But that's my review for It Follows. Like I said before, check it out if you haven't seen it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.